This is going to be an introduction to absolute value. The absolute value of a number is the number's distance from 0. Now that distance from 0 doesn't matter if it's to the left of 0 or to the right of 0, it's just how far away you are from 0. So let's do some practice. Here we've got the absolute value of 2. So how many units away from 0 is the number 2? Well, that would be 2 units away. How many units away from 0 is negative 8? Now here we're dealing with a negative number, but our answer is not going to be negative. It's just a number of units away from 0. So if we were to draw a number line, we say, okay, here's 0, and we went to the left 8. That means we went to the left 8 units, so we are 8 units away from 0, so the absolute value of negative 8 is 8. If we're talking about the absolute value of 0, 0 is 0 units away from itself, so the absolute value of 0 is 0. Now in number 4, we've got 6 plus the absolute value of 4. So first let's look at what the absolute value of 4 is, and then we'll worry about the 6. So 6 plus, and then the absolute value of 4. 4 is 4 units away from 0, so its absolute value is 4. And then we can add those together. 6 plus 4 is 10. Here we've got 3 and then the absolute value of negative 10. Now there's no operation sign in between the 3 and the absolute value bars, so that means we're going to do multiplication. So first let's figure out what the absolute value of negative 10 is. We still have this 3, and we're multiplying. And the absolute value of negative 10, it is 10 units away from 0, so now we have 3 times 10, which is 30. Here we have 7 times the absolute value of negative 5, and then minus 2. So again, let's worry about what's inside those absolute value bars first. So we have 7 times the absolute value of negative 5 is 5, and then minus 2 at the end. Now here's where we need to remember our PEMDAS rules. We don't have parentheses and we don't have exponents, so next we can either multiply or divide, going from left to right, and then we'll add or subtract. So we have 7 times 5, so we're going to multiply those first, and then subtract our 2. So now 35 minus 2 gives us 33, and we're done with that one. Number 7, again, we're going to do what's inside the absolute value bars first, and we're going to follow our PEMDAS rules. So 6 times 2, negative 3 on the outside, absolute value. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3. Then what's inside those we still need to simplify. Negative 3 on the outside, absolute value of 12 plus 3 is 15. Then the absolute value of 15, let's put those equal signs. The absolute value of 15 is just 15. So now we have negative 3 times 15, which is negative 45. So here our answer came out negative because the number that was in front of the absolute value bars was negative. So when we have this negative number times the absolute value, we're going to end up with a negative number. All right, last one. Inside those absolute value bars, we're going to multiply first. Equals. So we have the absolute value of 4 times negative 5 is negative 20, minus that 15. Then, on the inside, we get negative 20 minus 15 is negative 35, so we're looking for the absolute value of negative 35. Negative 35 is exactly 35 units away from 0.